Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking Big Brother 26. The season has officially concluded last night, you guys. Happy Monday to all of y'all. So I want to give a little quick recap of the finale, but I primarily want to give flowers to my girl, Chelsie. There's a lot that's going on, and we need to set the record straight. We need to get right to the point. So the finale itself, they could have sent in an email. I don't understand why we needed 2 hours. It was a waste of time. It was a lot of fluff segments and all the things. So they go over part 1 HOH. We see Chelsie, of course, dominate. Part 2 HOH. It was neck and neck between Cam and Makensy, and then Makensy just, does what she does and wins these comps and runs away with it. And so then we then see the part 3 HOH, which of course is live, and again it was neck and neck, and I think Chelsie at the end, I think she knew the answer. She's gonna say in interviews that she had like a brain fart or a brain freeze, but my honest opinion, Cam and Makensy were her 2 final 2s. Her ride or dies, and she didn't want to choose. She knew at the end of the day that either one of them, if they were in those positions, were going to take her. So she wanted to, quickly, hey, let me just fumble this question. And I know she knew that answer, right? So Makensy ends up winning the final HOH. I believe it was her 11th comp. She had the most comp wins and all these things. She has to make the decision to either evict Chelsie or Cam. They give their speeches and whatnot. And then Julie comes in and is like, you're missing something. And then Cam was like, oh yeah, shout out to, all my dogs at the crib or whatever. And so Makensy then gives this speech about how she's about being loyal and all these things. And so for those reasons, she feels that Chelsie protected her game the most compared to Cam and all of that. So she decided to evict Cam. Cam gets, a warm applause and everything else. And, Julie asked Cam, because for some reason, so now more than ever, definitely some of these DR sessions, which I've said in the past, felt scripted. Felt as though they want to try to push a certain narrative and all these things. And, basically Cam said, listen, Julie asked, hey, if it was you, would you have cut Chelsie like you said on the show? And Cam was like, listen, I was just trying to finesse Makensy. Chelsea's my A1 day one. I love Chelsie. I would have never turned my back on Chelsie and blah, 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 right? I also had the jury segment, right? Had the jury roundtable with Taylor. Thought she did a fantastic job. It was kind of interesting because they really tried to, paint this picture that people were like rooting for Makensy, which was weird because Quinn clocked that Chelsie is running the house like it is the Navy. She is running the house on a tight ship. Everybody is in formation. So how could anybody else, if Chelsie is in those final 2 chairs, how could anybody else realistically try to argue a game and win against Chelsie? And then we have Angela, who is just being a hater, who is just being bitter, and Taylor called her out on it. She was like, well, maybe I am bitter. And, Taylor's talking about having, the overall Big Brother game. And Angela's like, well, that was me. And I'm like, Angela, girl, you're not in the game anymore. You all of this energy, all of this noise, all of this mess isn't it. And this is why the casuals didn't like you. But we saw it more, those of us, including myself, we saw how you moved on the live feeds. But I saw you for who you were with the whole Matt situation and the Crazy Eyes things, which we'll get to a little bit later, because there was even a more cringier segment that happened after that. So, nonetheless, we then, it kind of sounds like they're trying to, give props. There was even a little bit of props to Cam, because they had been bashing Cam in previous jury segments. But they were trying to, pretty much my takeaway from that was like, pretty much if Chelsea's in final 2, she has everyone's vote except for Leah and Angela's, and that she would have to work to convince Leah and Angela to vote for her, was my takeaway from that jury segment, because Rubina came in and was like, listen, Chelsie is playing her bleep off, she is playing an incredible game, and all this and that. And so, nonetheless, we fast forward now, we're in the final 2. The jury comes out. Julie asks Chemo, who do you think's going to come out? And then they've been right on their predictions. And he's like, Cam. And so then they see Cam because, he's hard to miss. He's tall. And he comes right out and all the things. And so everybody's, dapping him up and all of that. And then we get into the jury questions. And right off the bat, you guys, because I was nervous. I was stressed. I didn't watch this live at first. I kind of came in at the end of the episode and watched stuff back because I was nervous for my girl Chelsie. I was nervous that she was going to get Vanessa, that Makensy was going to wake up and realize, oh my gosh, I cannot sit next to Chelsie at the end. She is going to blow me out the water. But last night on feeds, Cam had basically set up to make it seem as though that the jury was going to be a split, that it was going to go 4-3 either way, that it was going to be very close in jury votes and all these things, which was stressing out Chelsie a little bit because I don't think she thought, or maybe she did, that maybe the votes were going to be a lot closer. And so nonetheless, Quinn starts it off right off the bat, you guys, and it's like, listen, we see you, Chelsie, as the mastermind. Makensy, can you tell us what your biggest move was to make us think that you actually contributed something into this game besides comp wins? That wasn't the exact question. I was just adding some butter on it. But, then Makensy said that her biggest move was getting out Leah. And it's like, you can't make this stuff up. And then the questions for Chelsie were just dominant. Angela just had the stank face on the whole time, and I was just getting agitated. And I was so happy that in one of the responses, Chelsie called out the fact, and she was like, listen, Makensy didn't even like you, Angela. She couldn't stand you since day 6, right? Hates your guts. So with that being said, let me get into this. But really just Chelsie just articulated her game, in all the jury questions, the importance of her social game, the importance of her winning, not because she had to, but because she can. And, always was safe, was only on the block once, never was voted out for anything, always made sure there was a bigger threat, there was a bigger target than her, or if the conversation was about her, pivoted the conversation to other people. She was a mastermind. She was a mastermind, and she had the overall components of what you want in a Big Brother winner. So many seasons, it has been favored to the comp beast. Oh, you could just win comp beast, and you can have whatever social game that could be yay or nay for the jury. Or you can have a social game where you're overcoming something, but you may not be that good of a strategist, or you may not be, that much of a comp beast or whatever. However, you were able to maintain the important relationships that were going to sway the jury in your favor and all those things. But Chelsie had it all. Chelsie won comps. Chelsie was a mastermind in strategizing, and she had a social game where she was building relationships, even if she really wasn't necessarily people that she was working with. And the biggest component to her game was after her 2 alliances blew up, she technically wasn't really in an alliance. She was in, all in with Cam. That was her duo. And then eventually, Makensy came in, and then they were the trio. But they never officially named it an alliance. It was just an understanding, listen, we're taking each other to the end. We're in this for the long haul. And that was that. So that is going to be interesting to see in future Big Brother players who want to have these major alliances of 10 and 12 people that always blow up because people are trying to have sub-alliances and they're running their mouths to other sides and they're trying to blow up other people because they don't like everyone in these major alliances. And it always fails, right? And so Chelsie really articulated, listen, I started from the bottom. I was a microchip. I had no power week 1. All I was trying to do was survive week 1. And then I had to recalibrate and get my game together. And then once I was able to, and then I lost, my alliances blew up. I lost my 2 closest allies in Cedric and Brooklyn. And I had to recalibrate my game again and make sure that there was always larger targets than me. And I was always the safest when I was never in power. When I never had to win, and I won the most HOHs, but the times I didn't win HOH, I was the safest because I was managing my social game and making sure I'm getting out the people who are targeting me first so that they're not going to last in this game. and then Makensy was just fumbling these answers in real time. It was so cringe to watch. But I mean, the dumbest thing, of course, was just her taking out Leo on her HOH, which I'm glad Chelsie highlighted. Listen, you taking out your closest ally on your own HOH, me convincing you to backdoor your friend, and renom your friend, was beneficial to my game. It wasn't beneficial to your game because you and Leah could have dominated this thing to the end and taken me out, right? So it was just nice to see. I also loved Cam. He gave a layup question to Chelsie that was like, listen, and they talked about this also on the feeds. What is the difference between your game and the difference between Makensy's game? And she wrapped it up in a bow, how she was a socialist, not socialist, but how her social game, how she, strategized and she just put it all in a bow, talked about being a diamond, being multifaceted, and that's beautiful. I mean, when I was looking at the faces of the jury, I think she had everybody's vote except for Angela and Leah's, and then once Makensy would not own that basically it was Chelsie that engineered Leah's eviction, really that double eviction really just sealed, Chelsie as the winner, right? Because really the only people who would have targeted Chelsie were Angela primarily and Leah, even though Leah's scared to do it. And getting them out when they did was huge. But the fact that Makensy wouldn't own that it wasn't her move, it was Chelsea's move, was such a blunder for her. And, and then I think real time, Angela's vote changed once Chelsie told her, listen, Makensy doesn't even like you. She don't even see it for you. Because I think she saw the bitterness on Angela's face. And so nonetheless, I think real time that happened. But I loved how, I love Chelsea's final speech. I just love, and Chelsea's not new to this. She's true to this, you guys. So after all of that, and I don't think Makensy practiced a speech because it just sounded like it was a hot mess. She was, praising Chelsie a lot in the speech. And it's like, if we're competing against one another, I don't care how good of friends we are, like, you're not going to be complimenting me and giving all this concessions and stuff. You need to tell me why you need the $50,000. And that was not the case. So, nonetheless, after that, everybody locks in their votes. They were giving some funny one-liners, like, I think both Chemo's and Rubina's were funny, because Chemo was like, I love you both, but I'm going to vote for one of you to win. And then Rubina was like, well, I'm going to vote for the person who's taller than me, which, since she's the shortest, it could, it was just stuff like that. And then I don't know why people thought with Cam's comment that he was not going to vote for Chelsie. And that was he just literally said that was his A1 day one. There was not going to be a situation where he was not going to vote for her to win. So nonetheless, we get the pre-jurors out. Tucker gives an apology to Cedric. Lisa, talks. I don't even think Kenny said anything, you guys. I don't recall. Then we had this awkward Matt and Angela segment, you guys, where Matt had all the smoke on social media, but in person, it really wasn't the same energy, but he was trying to basically have like a truce or have some type of, whatever with Angela, and Angela still was just giving attitude, was giving stank face, was just giving whatever, like she could care less, and it was just very cringe to watch. Then we also had this extra long Rubina and Tucker segment that they could have just kept in the drafts as far as I'm concerned. Julie wanted to make the dig that Big Brother has the most successful marriages and relationships compared to The Bachelor and The Bachelorette and all of those things, which is true. It's facts. But we're here for a different type of show, right? Everybody wants to try to do their best impression of, of Swaggy and Bailey and everything else. And it's just old. It is just old. We want to get to the meat and potatoes, which is crowning Chelsie, who also said that she could have gotten to a showmance but didn't have to. And I see some of you haters out there, but she's right. those of you who didn't watch the live feeds could have gotten a show. I believe Joseph had a crush on her. I believe Cedric had a crush on her and said in interviews when he got out that had he stayed longer, something could have developed. But basically, he backed off because Cam told him that he had feelings for Chelsie. And then around week 3 or week 4-ish, Cam, was trying to do a showmance with Chelsie, and Chelsie said, We'll address that after the show. But we're not going to be doing any showmancing because showmance means you're an immediate target, means, especially with this cast, it means one or both of you are getting up out this house. So we're not about to be doing that here. So nonetheless, Tucker has flowers for Rubina. Tucker was turned up, you guys. I see a lot of people saying that he might have been, under an influence of something. I don't know. Allegedly, that's what the people are saying. But he was way too turned up, right? Way too turned up. And it's funny because even the casuals, they were shook at how turned up Tucker was. And we were like, this is the Tucker that we've been seeing on live feeds. But you thought that it was great to reward him with AFP, right? But nonetheless, they have their segment. Also, Julie reveals that Tucker was the AI investigator. So, nonetheless, Rubina feels a certain type of way or whatever, but still ends up hugging him begrudgingly. Julie reveals that there was the hurricane and revealed that Kamala Harris was the Democratic presidential nominee, but it sounded like they did not include the assassination attempt against Trump, the multiple assassination attempt. It seems like they left that on the cutting room floor and did not want to include that. So, and then I thought that they were going to have a segment. They did some funniest moments and things like that of the show, but they usually do like, hey, who's got, the biggest secret? Who's like a lawyer? Who's a doctor? Who's all these things, to benefit their game? That was missing this season. And, cause I thought that they were going to reveal, who Chelsea's aunt was and Niecy Nash, and they just decided, not going to do it. So, nonetheless, we come back and we read the votes, and for some reason, Julie leaves it on a cliffhanger. So she reads out the first 4 votes that are all for Chelsie, and I'm like, I think she's got it. Because if she is reading these and we only need to have, Rubina, Chemo, and Cam's vote left, I think it's unanimous, right? So she's emotional. She's freaking out. She comes out. First person she hugs is Cedric. Now that's because of where they're seating and everything else. But she's just like hugging everybody. She's really emotional and all these things. And we go to break. Julie comes back from break, reads the rest of the keys, that it was unanimous. And Mackenzie's face was pissed. She thought that she at least got 1 vote. And it was like, no, girl. No, girl, you don't realize how bad you fumbled this. And this is a testament that you can win as many comps as you want. You can win every single comp that you were eligible to compete in. And I'm glad Chelsie brought that up as well. But there are other components to the game that is why you deserve to win. You need to have a good social game. You need to have good jury management. And you need to have good strategy. You just listening and questioning Chelsie all day and, hijacking her HOHs and being all up under Chelsie 24/7, asking Chelsie a million questions and doing exactly what Chelsie fills your head with. That is why you lost the money, Makensy, because nobody saw you as an actual strategist. Nobody saw you as this great social player. You were even on feeds lying about Rubina's dress, saying Rubina stole the dress from you when she asked you if she could wear it, and you told her she could do whatever she wanted with it. But it's things like that. It's the amnesia for me, where she just really flat out forgets, how messy and how out of order she has been and everything else. But Chelsie wins unanimous. They reveal the top 3 for AFP. Somehow, I knew Angela and Tucker were going to be in the top 2, but somehow Quinn snuck in there, and I have no idea how that happened. Because I thought for sure, maybe Cedric or somebody else would get it, and I was voting for Cedric, but that didn't happen. And then they gave Tucker the $50K. Now, what's funny is that Tucker's total wins this season is almost more than Makensy. So Makensy gets 75,000 for second place, which I think they need to up second place. Second place needs to be like 150 or something like that, like 125, 150. But second place is 75,000, right? And then, Tucker gets the BB, AI investigator. That's 20K. Gets the 50K, so that's 70K. Plus, they get the stipends, right? So CBS gives you a stipend depending on how many weeks you last in the house. So I think when all of that tallies up, I think Tucker may surpass Makensy in winnings, which is crazy, you guys. Which is crazy. And just makes this even more of a flop. But I am here for all of it. So some stats about Chelsie, because I want to give her flowers. She broke the 23-year second HOH curse. So usually if you win the second HOH in the season, you have no chance to win the game. Because I believe that happened to Paul. You do not win the game. Chelsie broke that, right? Also, she is the first woman out of all the female winners to win this game unanimously. And ever since they increased the 50% diversity of who can be on, the cast, we have had Xavier, Taylor, Jag, and now we have Miss Chelsie winning. And then Chelsie and I believe Xavier and Taylor, I believe they were all 27 when they won. They're all Earth signs. It's just a lot of crazy synergy that is taking place. But now the alumni, now all these people are finally giving Chelsie the props that she deserves. She played a dominant game, was never voted to be evicted, and did not lose one jury vote, and actively, I believe, converted Leah and Angela's vote real time, you guys, because that speaks to the type of player that Chelsie is in her social game and how she knows the right things to say and convey her thoughts, and how she knows what to say to the right people. Even if they feel a certain type of way, she knows the right things to say to get things back on track. I've watched a couple of the interviews. I watched Shannon Tharp's interviews with Cam and Chelsie. Now, for those of you that thought that Chelsie was being delusional about Cam and some of her reaction to Cam's flirting, they both confirm that they're going to see what happens on the outside. That there's a potential, but they'll see, right? But Cam also said that he enjoyed arguing with Chelsie, that he likes getting her riled up. He likes getting her frustrated. That's like a thing. So while people were getting mad at Chelsie and be like, you're doing too much and blah, 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 Cam loved it and would do it on purpose to get a reaction. So nonetheless, we'll see what happens. I know some of you, you're still trying to humble Chelsie. You're still trying to ruin her life. You guys, let me say this, as somebody who has watched this show for several seasons, and for somebody who was in the thick of it, in my commentary a couple of seasons ago as it pertained to Taylor and the bullying and things that she experienced by her own cast, only for the cast to stay at Todrick's for several weeks and some of them several months after the show. For me, it's like this. These people are all in a bubble. They are going through something that most of us are never going to go through in a lifetime, which is being together X amount of days, no cameras, no X, Y, and Z. Yes, there's going to be some friendships and relationships that are going to be stronger than others. That's the nature of the beast. Not everybody's going to get along with everybody, right? But if you're going to hold Chelsie to some ridiculous moral standard, can you do the same for Leah? Can you do the same for Angela? Can you do the same for Tucker and others that also had very mean, nasty, malicious things to say about the other house guests? And most of what Chelsie has said about Cam, she's said to Cam to his face, or he heard her talking about him anyways, and he still loves that girl. He still is ride or die. At the minimum, they're still going to be cool when it is all said and done, because a lot of the nastiness, a lot of the things, this difference between the messiness and things that we saw, from Chelsie, a lot of it was game related. The issue that we've had in previous seasons on feeds, which is why they're cutting the feeds a lot more, was the RACISM, where it was personal and it was very much microaggressive and it was very much inappropriate, just like Angela referring to Kikor and Chelsie as that group, and people desperate to think that there was a Cookout 2.0 this season when there was no such thing. And it was very exhausting. Those are the types of things that people are just assuming, oh, if two black people get along, it must be a Cookout alliance. No. First of all, T-Core and Chelsie were on two opposite sides of the house. We're running two different trio alliances. So, therefore, you're wrong, right? So it's things like that. But if you're not going to keep the same energy and your whole purpose is to try to destroy Cam or try to humiliate Cam or try to humiliate Chelsie and all these things, you're wasting your breath, you guys. Because like I said, as many people who wanted to do the same for Taylor and wanted to have all these people exposed, she ended up living with those people at Todrick's house for months. And as you can see now, is over the past couple of days and even over the past couple of seasons, as she's gotten more integrated with the BB alum, she hangs out with the same people that were talking crazy about her. She hangs out, her and Amira were at the same dinner the other night with the preachers. So she hangs out with these people, from her season that were awful to her. So you guys think you're doing a solid. I trust you. Trust me. The family and friends, no. The family and friends, they all have the clips and they can say whatever they want to. Hey, I don't think you should be cool with this person. Hey, I don't think you should be friends with this person. But ultimately, it is up to the person themselves on whether or not they want to continue certain relationships, right? And as far as I'm concerned, as it pertains to, what is or isn't going to come of Chelsie and Cam, that's their business. But you guys trying to be the moral police and trying to, repost all these clips, here's the thing. You think that you're doing something, but a lot of these people don't want to see some of the things that were said. They may say it in interviews, hey, I want to see what you said about me on the show. But for some of these people have PTSD. For some of these people, they don't want to really relive some of the trauma. For some of these people, if they felt like they were slighted or it's going to remind them that their game wasn't that good or that they got outplayed or they got outwitted or, like Lisa referenced, there's a different Chelsie in the diary room sessions. They're going to be, it's going to be what it's going to be. But, Chelsie, what is going to be different for people to see is, yes, she's going to be nice, she's going to be cool to you, but yes, she's going to give the energy in the DR. While you guys, like she said on feeds the other night, she was like, while y'all are sleeping, I'm working on my speech. While y'all are, sleeping, I'm going to be working on potential jury questions that are going to be asked to me. And I'm going to make sure that I am prepared, that I've got my answers together, that I've got my speeches together, and that's what she did. And, ultimately, that is not what other people did, and that's why they're not in the game. Or they didn't make it as far as they wanted to. But trying to destroy somebody else and ignoring the problematic people that you guys wanted to vote for AFP? No. I am going to need you guys to keep it all the way a buck with everybody, right? If you're going to hold one person accountable, hold everybody accountable. But if you're not going to hold everybody accountable, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your tweets, you're wasting your nonsense. Let Chelsie enjoy her moment as the winner, you guys. Let these people enjoy getting back their phones and making the decisions for themselves, what they want to know and what they don't want to know. If these people are going to resolve any issues on their own or whatever, let them do that. They are all adults. But you trying to intervene and trying to force people on who you want to be friends again or who you want them to date or not date never works out for you. And you have to take a step back and let these people be. They're not as clueless as you think that they are. They're not as ignorant as you think they are. They lived with these people. For, in the case of Cam and Chelsie, they lived together for 90 days. So they've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in each other. So a lot of what you're doing isn't going to be some big time reveal, you guys. A lot of it they already know. Really, what's going to be shocking is some of the DR sessions more than anything, and maybe, some of the stuff on live feeds. But again, not as malicious, not as bad as a lot of the stuff that, Tucker said on feeds, and a lot of the stuff that Angela said on feeds, and even some of the things that Leah said on the feeds, especially at the beginning of the season. But if you're not going to hold them to the same standards, I don't want to hear it. Enjoy Chelsie as a winner. Stop trying to humiliate the black girl. Stop trying to tear down the black girl. This is the first time we have a black winner, a black female winner that did not have to be ostracized, that was the mastermind. It was giving Daniel Reyes, where she is dominating, she is controlling it all, and was able to play her own game. And had the right allies to be there with her every step of the way, so that no matter what, she was always going to be insulated and always going to be protected by her two closest allies. Give Chelsie her flowers. Give Chelsie her props. Stop the propaganda. Stop the nonsense. Stop the foolishness. You're always trying to tear people down when we need to be celebrating these victories, because I know CBS is about to be on some BS next season with casting. And y'all are going to be in your feelings when y'all don't see as many black people. And they're going to be like, oh, we're going to have more Asian people, or we're going to have more, Indian people. We're going to have all these other people, and it's going to be one black girl. And y'all are going to be pissed off. Where's all the black people? Blah, 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 blah. But yet you wanted to waste your time trying to tear down this black woman. No. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. We're giving Chelsie her flowers. We're going to celebrate this win. We're going to continue to lift her up. We're going to continue to pump her up and all of these things. And you guys are going to deal. So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post some content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.